Aloha, y'all. What's cooking? Welcome to my channel. My name is Steph, and I am the Socially Awkward Chef. Today, we're going to take one chicken and make 3 meals from it. These are easy, tasty, and most of all, budget friendly because everyone deserves to eat well. So, we're going to start for the marinade for our roast chicken. So, what I have out here are 3 different ways that you can get your garlic into the size that we want, which is basically a paste. So you can use a garlic press, you can use a microplane, and that's what I'm going to use today. Or if you don't have either, no worries, you can just brush up on your knife skills and use that. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take 6 to 7 cloves of garlic and we're just going to grate them. And this marinade came to be because it's a riff on a Peruvian chicken dish that is called pollo a la brasa, and that has this really wonderful garlic paste, and then it has some peppers, and there's also some soy in it too. So I decided to kind of make an easy version of it because sometimes, depending on where you are, some of these peppers aren't that easy to get. But this recipe, unless you hate garlic, is a great one for you. So I'm going to keep grating. Okay. Just get all of this off of there. Okay. And that is about what you're going to end up with. Get rid of that. So to this, we're going to add a teaspoon of freshly cracked black pepper. If you don't have it, no worries. You can use just ground black pepper. We're also going to add some shoyu. I like a low sodium, but use what you like. We're going to use about 1/4 cup. And then even though it may seem counterproductive to lower sodium shoyu, I'm going to also add a teaspoon of salt there. And that just gives it 2 different layers of like this saltiness. It just has a really good balance. So we're going to mix this up, and the garlic is going to actually start to thicken this paste, or thicken into a paste. And actually I'm going to add a little bit more shoyu to that. And of course, feel free to measure it out. I am an eyeball kind of a person. All right, so we're looking for, as far as the garlic, as pasty as you can. So you got your garlic press, that's going to be fine. If you're going to chop it up, you're going to be chopping for a hot minute, but it'll be worth it, I promise you. So this is the marinade. We're going to set this aside, and I'm going to go take our whole chicken and get rid of the wrapping and get it ready to marinate. So I'll see you in just a sec. As you can see, we've got our marinade that has thickened up considerably, and I switched spoons, so you'll see why in a second. We've got our chicken out. I like to aim for about a 4.5 pound chicken. 4.5 to 5 pounds is good. And please don't be intimidated by roasting a chicken, because I think I have a foolproof way of doing this, but y'all will let me know. So we're going to get started with marinating our chicken. If you have latex gloves, that's great, but I don't want that to be the deal breaker, because real talk, at home, I use my hands. I just make sure that I wash them, as you should too. So we're going to start marinating our chicken. And I'm going to put a couple of spoons here inside. And then I'm going to actually take the back of the spoon and just kind of go underneath the skin here. We're going to create a little pocket between the breast and the skin, but don't go tearing through it. Just kind of ease it. So we're also going to put some of that marinade in there too. Okay. And that way you've got some of that meat that has marinade directly on top of it rather than having it, take forever to go through the chicken itself. All right, so now, try that again. Take a spoonful here, put it inside that little pocket that we just made, and then I'm just going to kind of use my fingers and gently work it around there. Try and spread it. And we're going to do the same thing with the front side. But I'm also going to get this marinade worked around inside because you want to get everything flavored literally from the inside out. I'm initially a little bit conservative with what I put inside because I want to make sure I have enough marinade for the outside of the chicken too. All right, so now I'm going to go to this side. And I find it easier just to use my fingers. Just gonna, again, get it right between skin and the breast itself. This somehow is sounding like it's going sideways. All right. So now we're going to get marinade. Give this wonderful chicken a nice little massage. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to make sure every part has some of that yummy marinade on it. Back over. Get right in between the drumstick and the thigh. Okay. And then just a little bit left over, so in she goes. And I like to marinate this at minimum 2 to 4 hours. If you can marinate it overnight, even better, but sometimes I don't have that much foresight. So when you're initially going to marinate it, you want to do it breast side down. So gravity works, you're going to get a lot of flavor in that breast. And make sure that everything is, all that marinade is everywhere. I'm going to cover this with some plastic wrap, but not before. Oops, I washed my hands. So I'll see you in a sec. Okay, friends, so we've got our chicken wrapped up here, and we're going to let her marinate for at minimum 2 hours. The longer, the better. Overnight is best, but if you can't, I get it. But if you're going to do it for a longer marinade, go ahead and rotate it at least one time after a few hours. So we're going to start it breast side down. After a few hours, you can go ahead and rotate it right side up and let it marinate the rest of the time. If you have time to baby your chicken and go ahead and flip it over a few times, go for it. But most of us don't have that much time. So for the sake of reality, breast side down at least 2 hours. And again, you can start this even before you go to work. And I think I'm rambling on too much about how to take care of this chicken. I think you get the point. So we're just going to let it marinate and move on from there. I'll see you in a little bit. Hey y'all, welcome back. It has been a couple of hours, so I just took the chicken out of the fridge and uncovered it, and I flipped it back over so it is breast side up. And we want to warm this up a little bit because we don't want to put a cold chicken into a hot oven. That can lead to it not cooking evenly. So even though it seems kind of weird to you, to someone saying leave a raw chicken out for a half an hour or so, I promise it's going to be okay. So we're going to set this aside for now. And we have a couple of veggies that we are going to add to our roast chicken. So we've got a couple of carrots. Move the tops and the bottoms, and then we're going to cut them into chunks. And as I'm going from the large end to the skinnier end, we want everything to cook up at the same time. So I'm going to make these a little bit bigger as I get towards the skinnier part, because that's going to help compensate. So this guy looks like I'm going to go like there. It's like a piece for me for later. All right, so we've got these. Swap out for some potatoes. Okay. Oops. Now we're just going to want to cut these into, again, big chunks. We want to keep them about the same size so everybody cooks at the same time. So we're just going to cut into 4 pieces. Let's cut this guy into 3. Same as this. All right. Now that we've got our veg cut, I'm going to set that aside for now and preheat the oven to 420 degrees, which brings about a really good piece of kitchen equipment that I highly recommend everybody get, which is an oven thermometer, because not all ovens are created equal and temperatures do tend to vary. So this way you will know what you got going on. The other is to have a regular food thermometer to check and make sure that your proteins and things that you cook are the right temperature. But hopefully throughout all these videos that you're going to learn that you don't necessarily need to have this to cook good food. So we're going to let the oven preheat for a little bit, and I'll see you in just a sec. All right, so we've got our cooking vessel. This is Julia, my cast iron skillet that I have had for over 20 years, and I bought her brand new and put all this love into her, so she's one of my favorite treasures. So we are going to take this chicken and we're going to put it into, or Julia, and I'm going to take a paper towel and I'm just going to wipe off some of this marinade on the top of the breast and the chicken, because you don't want it to burn, especially when garlic burns, it tends to get bitter. All right, so we're going to put that to the side, and these arms are tucked under. If your chicken does not have, if they were any other way, you're just going to make it look like they're putting their hands behind their former necks, and we're going to tuck them underneath. And then this area, instead of trussing a chicken, which means you're going to tie it up like that, we're not going to do any of it. We're just going to let this bird hang free. And this is going to get nice and crispy and cook really evenly, especially since we went and we're letting it kind of come up to temperature since it was hanging out in the refrigerator. So now we're going to add our potatoes and our carrots. We're just going to stud them all around our chicken. And these are going to cook down or cook in the chicken fat or schmaltz, so they're going to be extra tasty. We want to get everything all around. Okay. And then I'm going to just put a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper onto our potatoes and carrots, but first I'm going to wash my hands. Some salt. Just going to give it a couple of pinches, so not tons. And some pepper, same amount. And then we are going to go ahead and place this into the oven. Again, the temperature is 420 degrees. And for the placement of your oven shelf, so wherever your middle is of the oven, lower it one. And that way this bird won't burn or not brown enough. It seems to be a pretty good sweet spot. So we're going to cook this approximately 15 minutes per pound is the general guideline. I found for this particular temperature at 420 degrees, and this chicken being 4.5 pounds, you can go up to 5 pounds. But we're going to cook this for an hour. And don't open the oven once you put it in, unless you smell something burning. That's a different story. But anyway, we're going to pop this in the oven. See you in an hour. I just pulled the chicken out of the oven, and we are going to just give it a temperature check here. So we're going to put it into the thickest part of the chicken, which is in the thigh. And you want to look for at least 165, and we're clocking way above that. So we're good to go. What I like about this particular method in cooking at a higher temperature for a little bit shorter amount of time is that it tends to lock in the juices, and you don't have to baste or anything, which is really nice, and the skin gets nice and crispy. So before we cut it up, we are going to let it rest for 15 minutes. That way the juices won't run anywhere. So see you in 15. It is time to cut the chicken. So I'm going to use a serrated knife, also known as a bread knife. I find it makes it pretty easy to cut your chicken up. So I'm going to start with the breast, and I'm going to go right alongside breastbone. You can see it's still piping hot even after 15 minutes. So I have a fork here just in case this gets too hot to handle. Next thing I'm going to do is cut through the drumstick. You can see all the juice running out of that. I'd like to see. So we're just going to cut round. So we're going now flat into the back of, or the underside of this chicken breast. And then hopefully it will come right apart just like that. So you can see our chicken is nice and fully cooked and still juicy and hot. In our next video, we are going to take our leftover chicken and turn it into stock and then turn it into soup. Now for the third meal, this is mainly going to be for, a 1 or 2 person household where you're going to have some leftovers where we can go ahead and make that third meal from it. But if you've got a 4-person household, we're most likely just going to get this awesome roast chicken and our stock and soup. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this chicken. And if you'd like to see more, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Until we eat again, aloha. Hey, it's me again. Totally forgot something. As I was plating up this chicken, I realized I did not show you these awesome potatoes and carrots. So you can see they've been cooking in chicken fat and the juices, so they are nice and golden brown. And these carrots have some really nice color on them. So I'm going to plate this up. Tonight we are having some Brussels sprouts that were cooked up in a pan alongside these potatoes and carrots. So that was all I wanted to show you. Thanks so much again. Bye.